Patricia was my mom. She was the greatest, most selfless person you could ever meet. She helped anybody and everybody.
Now at 5, mourning the death of her mother, the heartbreak this daughter is experiencing after a domestic disturbance turned deadly.
Plus, raising the taxes you pay to drive your car, the potential impact on Indianapolis drivers if a proposal to increase road funding gets the green light.
And we did another day near 80 degrees. It's going to continue as this pattern stays stuck in place. We've got more warm days in the 7-day forecast.
Coming up in 13 sports, Tony East of Locked On Pacers joins me to talk about the Pacers draft preparations, also the new lottery system and how that affects the league heading forward. That's coming up again in 13 sports.
Tonight, we're hearing from family and friends of a woman killed during a domestic disturbance on the Near East Side. That conflict ended in a police chase, an officer-involved shooting, and the suspect taken into custody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicia Lawrence.
And I'm Jenna Webster. Ann has this night off. Our Brandon Schaff returned to the scene where the violence started and spoke with the victim's daughter and friend who saw the whole thing unfold.
Outside this home on North Rural Street on Indy's Near East Side, 65-year-old Patricia Weber had little time to react when a man approached her car while she was parked.
My mom had just got back from the store. He walked up to her, knocked on the window. As soon as she turned her head, he pulled a gun out and shot her in the face.
Karen Kaiser is Weber's daughter. She says her biological dad was the alleged shooter, who had a history of abuse against her and her mom. She described an incident earlier this month when her dad assaulted them at a family cookout. She says they feared the day would come when something like this would happen.
This should happen to nobody's mom, nobody's grandma. Like, this little sweet old lady did not deserve that, to be assassinated in her daughter's front yard.
Daryl Douglas is a family friend. He saw the shooting happen and says he remembers seeing the suspect driving around the neighborhood several times before approaching Patricia's car and pulling the trigger. He says he wants justice for the woman who called him family.
Miss Pat was there. She opened her heart, she opened her arms, and never asked for anything back. And now it's time for me to stand up and make sure that this guy never see the daylight again.
Douglas says he'll attend every court hearing and testify. He was relieved to hear the suspect was arrested and now faces a preliminary murder charge after helping police catch the suspect. Kaiser is thankful for Douglas as she processes her loss.
I'm in shock. I'm traumatized. I'm just broken. I'm lost. My mom is my best friend.
Kaiser is now urging victims of domestic violence to seek help as soon as possible. In Indianapolis, Brandon Schaff, 13 News.
Douglas praised IMPD's quick response after the shooting. Police say the suspect led officers on a chase and was shot by police before he was taken into custody.
Now, Patricia's death is at least the third case of deadly domestic violence we've reported on across central Indiana just this week. The Indy Public Safety Foundation works to prevent incidents like this around the city. Advocates want you to be aware of the dangers so this doesn't happen to anyone you know or someone you love.
We want to make sure that those who are going through domestic violence understand the importance of, if there is a gun involved, whether you've been threatened with it or you haven't, your chances of being killed is 500% greater than the average person. So we have to continue to push the importance of guns in the home and in the relationships of domestic violence being ultimately leading to something like this, unfortunately.
If you or someone you know needs help, we can help link you to some resources that are available in central Indiana. Just check out our story on WTHR.com.
Happening now, leadership in the City County Council is proposing vehicle tax increases to pay for road repairs and maintenance in Indianapolis.
Marion County car vehicle owners would have to pay more for their BMV registration starting January 1st.
Rich Nye has the opposition from the mayor and reaction from car owners.
The Democrat-controlled City County Council says increasing the county vehicle excise surtax and the county wheel tax will provide a long-term funding solution for the streets of Indianapolis. Most car owners would pay an annual $100 county excise surtax. By comparison, our company paid $35.80 this year on the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek that I drive for work.
Well, my reaction is that the roads are horrible now. We've been taxed for them for the gas tax, and yet nothing's been fixed. They just basically fill in the potholes, and More taxes are going to do what? Exactly, I'm not understanding because the roads are not getting fixed as they are.
The City County Council leadership says they need to increase the Marion County taxes so that Indianapolis can continue to meet the threshold to receive state matching dollars for road improvements. The state will provide $50 million in road funding if the city raises that same amount. The amount keeps going up over the next 5 years to $100 million in 2031.
We're required by the end of this calendar year to tell the state, hey, we have the money and here's where the money is coming from. Our plan guarantees that. Say in 1 year we don't provide the match, it's not that we get a mulligan. First year we don't provide the match, we don't get it in the future either.
But Mayor Joe Hogsett believes Indy can raise the necessary funds without raising taxes. His statement concludes, "We owe it to our community members to deliver solutions that invest in infrastructure without placing additional financial strain on hardworking families. It is my firm belief that the proposal announced today is not that solution." In Indianapolis, Rich Nye, 13 News.
Marion County residents can comment on the vehicle tax proposal at 3 upcoming meetings. The proposal will be considered Tuesday, June 9th before the Administration and Finance Committee, then on June 11th by Public Works Committee and June 16th by the Rules and Public Policy Committee.
A story to watch. Well, if you're planning to be in downtown Indy tomorrow morning, you're going to want to listen up. Some road work on Mass Ave could impact your weekend plans. DPW will begin work around 4 o'clock in the morning on a stretch of Mass Ave. So you can expect some temporary lane and parking restrictions between Delaware and Davidson streets. That work is expected to wrap up in the early afternoon.
Okay, and we are running out of words in the weather department because it's just beautiful outside.
I know. You know the Lady Gaga meme where she's like listing off all the adjectives about how great something is?
Yeah.
We got to pull that out for you, Rob.
I think we should. By the way, we talked about the patching on the roadways there. Getting a nice dry stretch like this is going to be great for getting any outdoor projects done. I was thinking about that and I was like, oh, I got to finish staining the deck as well. So fortunately, the nice weather means I've got more projects to do on my weekend.
Well, wear a hat and your sunscreen.
Absolutely, because there is pretty strong sun out there right now. In fact, some of those high, thin clouds that are in place may unfortunately give you a false sense of cloudiness, and the sun can beat right through that. So yeah, make sure you are wearing the sunscreen as well. Temperatures are very, very comfortable. They're 80 degrees or so. We do expect this to be in place yet again for tomorrow, maybe just a degree cooler. That's about it. That's the only change we make in the forecast. I mentioned the high, thin clouds. There they are. This pattern stays with us through tonight and into tomorrow. So if you do have evening plans for your Friday night, here's what to expect. A very comfortable evening. The humidities come down. Temperatures will be through the 70s. We'll end up in the upper 50s and low 60s yet again for tonight and tomorrow. Another day just like today. Even though we start in the 50s, we end up back up close to 80 degrees for your Saturday afternoon.
Thanks so much, Rob. And lawmakers in Illinois have until the end of Sunday night to approve a piece of legislation to get the Bears to stay in Illinois.
Yeah, the bill would give the Bears property tax breaks on a new stadium in Arlington Heights. And our NBC affiliate in Chicago reports the team has said the state must pass it if they were to consider staying in Illinois, not moving over here to Indiana.
The team is also considering specifically Hammond. Hoosier lawmakers are already passed a similar proposal here to get them to move across state lines. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the drama over the Bears stadium is a big political topic. We've been talking about it since December, it feels like. On this week's Crossroads Politics, Nikki Kelly with the Indiana Capital Chronicle told me the split between Arlington Heights and Chicago isn't the main problem anymore.
I think the bigger issue is, some numbers came out this week that really looked at the impact of that bill and how much property taxes would be given up or, quote, shifted. And I think a lot of people are very concerned about that. They don't see a lot of upside for Chicago residents or Illinois residents.
You can watch our full conversation when this week's episode premieres at 10 a.m. on Sunday on the free WTHR streaming app.
Well, on Thursday, the NBA approved changes to the NBA draft lottery in hopes of addressing the league's tanking issue.
Eli Gang caught up with Locked On Pacers' Tony East about those changes and how it affects the league and the Indiana Pacers moving forward.
The big news, obviously, Thursday, the changes to the NBA lottery system. So it's basically the 3-2-1 model is what they're calling it. And what it is there's 16 teams that are in the lottery. 37 lottery balls are dispersed amongst those teams. But the big catch, if you're one of the worst 3 teams in the league, you get docked a little bit. So instead of maybe getting 3 lottery balls, you get 2, which is what Adam Silver wanted to do, is kind of get rid of the whole tanking method. I'm curious, Tony, what was your initial reaction when you saw that announcement made on Thursday?
Yeah, clear hope for the NBA to try to blend giving the worst teams at least better picks than the rest of the league, maybe not the best picks, but also encouraging winning to some extent, not to be the egregiously worst team or the worst 3 teams, but instead maybe jostle to get into the middle. It clearly is going to what the NBA hopes this is, which is more incentive for these teams to win NBA games for the entire season.
And obviously the Pacers are on the brunt end of the final year of the current lottery system, not having a pick. So when you look at the new model, how do you see it maybe affecting the Pacers heading forward, even though it's kind of it's brand new right now?
Yeah, slots, I believe 1 through 7, your odds of getting a high pick go down, and then 8 through 14 they go up, but the expected values are all the 7th pick or higher for all these picks because they draw all of them now. So traded away picks, their upside is lower, even if their floor might be a little more interesting to these teams. Yeah, it seems like it's good for them in terms of the pick they already sent out has less upside or is at least a little lower in value, and that might change how they trade picks in the future too, something they've hinted at possibly doing now that they have more to trade without this pick's gone.
Changes currently happening across the NBA. What's not going to be changing is us meeting up with Tony East of Locked On Pacers for all of your Pacers talk. Tony, appreciate it as always. Once again, that's Tony East, and I'm Eli Gain for 13 Sports.
All right, very interesting. We'll have to see how that works out next season. Well, we want to wish all the runners some good luck because it is race weekend in Carmel. After a 6-week delay, the Carmel Marathon is scheduled to finally take place this Sunday. The weather forced the organizers to postpone the race, which was scheduled for back in the middle of April. This is also the 2nd year in a row that's happened. But now 6,500 athletes are expected to hit the streets Sunday morning for the Boston Marathon qualifier. Online registration for the race is going to close at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, so you got some time if you still want to run.
Casually, just sign up the night before.
Yeah.
All right, controversy and cancellations.
The fallout surrounding the Freedom 250, that's ahead at 5:30.
First at 5, searching for the cause of a deadly explosion. The work now underway at what was once an apartment complex in Dallas.
And making a decision when it comes to peace with Iran, the stipulations President Trump is putting out there as he considers extending the ceasefire again. Next.